Live in three, two, one. Yep, we're live.
Are we live?
Yep.
Hello and welcome, Red Devils United. Wish you a very happy New Year 2021. Well, 2020 was a year that did not seem to end, but finally we are in the new year and hope you guys have had a great start, just as me and Sagar did, with an amazing Man United victory over Aston Villa. And before we head
Yep.
into our discussion for today, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel because your love keeps us going and helps us make more content for you to enjoy. Sagar, what are your thoughts about that victory that has brought us level with Liverpool at the top of the table? What a contrast, first of all, from the start of the year.
Y- Yeah, I think first things first, Happy New Year to everyone who is watching or might be watching. And yeah, like you said, great start to the year. 2020 has not been, uh, I would say, not that exciting for everyone, given the circumstances and situations we have been in. But yeah, 2021, great start to the year. Manchester United, as we are beginning to expect or see some kind of consistency flowing in. So yeah, could not have asked for anything better for the first day of the year. Hope we continue this form. Hope we carry on, and we are just in 16 games at this point in time. So yeah, I hope if we are in the similar situation towards like 25, 30 games, you never know.
Yeah, it's what 16 games done, level
Yeah.
in points with Liverpool, and
Hmm.
like this is one stat that I saw. We won 10 games. Liverpool has won 9 games. We've
Yes.
drawn three, lost three. Liverpool has tied six and lost one. Like for
Hmm.
us, this is a new place to be. Like I still remember 7 years ago, 2000, not even seven, that's right, 7.5 years ago,
Yeah.
2013 was the last time we were anywhere close to the table as we are in December. Like,
Yeah.
mind you, we've been top of the table after two games in 15, 16, but like this
Yeah.
has been the
Absolutely.
first time I see ourselves there, and I do not need an iPhone Max to look at United's position
To
in the
scroll
table.
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. I think the last time, like you said, was under Sir Alex when we actually won the title, when in and around the Christmas period or after the Christmas period, we were around the top of the table. And like you said, under Mourinho, we have been there, but again, we drop off significantly, and we have to be careful about that. Yeah, as a United fan, we often think that we can do it.
so that's important. And like I still remember what was that game? Like Burnley game 2-0 that we
Yeah,
lost in
yeah.
January, and I believe that was sometime in the first week
Mm,
where all hope was lost, and we would lose against City as well in the EFL Cup semi-finals. Arsenal beat us, Liverpool beat us. That was like a terrible time, and we were questioning Ole. Like we still question Ole and his
yeah,
strategies, but
yep,
that time was seriously questioning Ole, his team
yeah.
selections, and the team that was actually out there, or the entire squad.
Mm.
What for you has been the transforming factor for United, where now not only do we look quality on the field, but we also have some quality on the bench?
Yeah. You know what? We always had quality players in our squad, so that was never in doubt. Even if you take a look at the team sheet, which is going into a game week, you would definitely see United has the upper hand in terms of individual quality players. But I think two two factors come into play regarding the turnaround that we currently see with Manchester United. That is, the number one would definitely be the consistency with which we are approaching different games. We tend not to give up till the end, as we have seen with Wolves. And I think I keep forgetting the other game, but there are a couple of instances where we have not given up. We fight on till the end and try and get a result, which was not happening in the previous seasons under Oli. The other factor would be competition for places for me, definitely. That is something which has improved players in certain positions. Namely, if you take a look at left back position where Shaw now has significant competition for him going, and he knows that if he puts in a couple of drabbing performances, Alex Telles is going to take up his position for sure. So that has helped him, pushed him to improve his performances on the pitch. And you have seen, I personally have not seen like Luke Shaw putting in crosses, taking up corners now. So
Mm.
that's significant. And in the midfield, we have like six players now. So you cannot be overconfident other than Bruno, who has that he has the leeway for me. He can do whatever he wants on the pitch, and he'll still be the number one player to be picked in a team. But yeah, other than that, no other positions are certain. Players know they have players breathing down the neck. If they do not put in a shift or a performance, they are going to be replaced. So I think those two factors have changed fortunes for Manchester United. I'm not getting giddy with all the results we are getting, but still, as a Manchester United fan, like you said, for the past 7 years, it's the best time to be a fan and support the team. So why not carry on with the wave, and let's see where it takes us.
Yeah, it's been unprecedented. Like the restart was one of the first insights into how United can play if they're at their best. I mean,
Yeah.
we just kicked. I mean, it wasn't even kicked off. We just took off like a rocket, from the launch. And I think towards the end of the season was where teams started figuring us out. But by then, we were in a really good position to,
Hmm.
finish top four.
Yeah.
And then when the year started, again, there was a lot of negativity around team selections, Ole, transfers. We wanted
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho, didn't get Jadon Sancho. We wanted a centre back, did not get a centre back. But we ended up with a free signing in Edinson Cavani, which was
Hmm.
expensive over the 2 years
Yeah.
of his contract. Then we got Alex Telles, and we got two youngsters in Facundo Pellistri and Adama
Yeah.
Traore,
Yeah.
and a
Ahmad
mix.
Traore. Yeah, everyone
Ahmad,
gets confused. There are so many
yeah, it's not
Traores.
Adama, sorry, it's not Adama Traore. That's the Wolves guy,
Yeah.
Ahmad
Yeah.
Traore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a very like talented starlet in Donny van de Beek, and
Yeah.
whom we have not seen play as much as us fans would have seen him play. But the start that we had, I think, was justified to an extent where the players did not have a preseason,
Yeah. Exactly.
and then COVID was wreaking havoc. Paul Pogba
Yep.
was, he fell under the spell of COVID, and then, as you
Yeah.
know, players feel breathless, tired. They take their time coming back to full fitness, and we went through that
Yeah.
series. And I still feel Ole and his team have a lot to do. Like, they are not the best coaching talent
Yeah.
out there,
For sure. For sure.
but for me, I feel it's Bruno whose leadership has sort of transformed United. Has he's spread the winning mentality like a virus, I would say, in our squad.
Exactly.
Something
Exactly.
that Ole was always talking about, but he has not managed to do with his team. And I feel
Yeah.
it's that Bruno factor that's kicked every player in their back now that they want to win games. They're not
Yeah.
happy with a point. We were celebrating draws. Now we
Mm.
are not
Yeah.
celebrating
Exactly.
draws.
Exactly. Exactly. So I think you bring a great point where this game today, last year it finished 2-2. We had a, l- a similar kind of a situation for close to 15 minutes towards the end, where this game could have easily finished a draw, and we could have dropped 2 points for sure. And I personally think Aston Villa were playing really well. They were creating chances, but still we managed to hang on. And I think that's important, where you said Bruno Fernandes has instilled a kind of a togetherness, a kind of a winning mentality into the team. Where towards the end, if you might have seen, where Bai made that great super block,
Hmm.
I think it was from their striker. But yeah, when the final whistle went, you could see all the substitutes running down and giving him a big hug and gathering around like a team. And that is where you tend to see teams starting to put a string of performances and a string of wins together. And yeah, Bruno Fernandes has been speaking about that winning mentality a lot in his interviews. He still has not officially quoted saying that we are looking at a title, but I am pretty sure that Oli has been mentioning that in the dressing room, because looking at the table, we know we have played lesser number of games due to the COVID restrictions, but
Hmm.
still we are in with a chance. And I know that the table is very volatile because Manchester City has two games in hand, and if they
Yep.
win both of the games, they would be 1 point
Like
behind
one
us. So
point behind
things
us.
can change quickly. We cannot write off Tottenham because if they put a string of wins, they would again catch up with us. And you could have seen like similar situation with Everton where they were starting to drop off, and with two consecutive wins, I think they were back
And
in
three
the
wins.
number two position.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things can change very quickly, and with how the season is currently going, I think 80 to 85 points should do for any team to win the title. It's not going to be 100-point season for sure, because Liverpool are looking to, they are not solid at the back because of Virgil van Dijk's injury. So we know they are going to drop points, and if that trend continues, we definitely stand a chance to win. And there are like 6 to 7 teams which is exciting in the Premier League who can win the league. So yeah, great time to be a United fan. And
It
yeah,
is. I hope that this run of form continues because, like, we've seen ourselves winning games that I never thought we would win. Like even today's
yeah,
game, I was like, I don't know if we would win or not. Like this is how
yep,
I go into games. Like Man United is playing. Earlier it was like, oh, Man United, Aston Villa, United's winning. Man United, Sheffield, United's winning. Man United,
mm,
Southampton, United's winning. Now when we go in, I don't have that feeling that United's winning. You know, it can go either way because
either way,
United's
yeah. So yeah, when you see me kind of not
uh,
moving, you can just carry on. It's fine. Yeah,
okay.
I missed a chunk, major chunk of what you were talking
So
about. So, but
I was
that's
saying
fine. I
that
think we are good on that.
this year has been like Jekyll and Hyde. We've seen the best and
Yeah,
we've seen the worst in the year
yeah,
that's been one of our best. Where if we take the points
best.
right
Yeah, yeah,
now
absolutely.
and if we take the points up to restart and add them up, United's like at the top, like clearly
Yeah.
at the top of the table.
Exactly. I think yeah, that's important. Like if we maintain this consistency, if we maintain this run of form, we can expect to see something happening. But yeah, it, given what you have seen historically, does not fill United fans with a lot of confidence. But I personally think it's fair to say that Ole, if backed in the upcoming transfer window, which is going to open tomorrow, uh, we can expect to see something happening, something special happening, maybe 21 coming. So never know.
Yeah,
What
2020,
what what
21.
what are your thoughts about the transfer window? So do you think if we get, or if we get someone in the transfer window, which position do you think we should be looking at? Because we definitely have a room for a lot of room for improvement. So which positions are you specifically trying to plug holes there?
Like for me, center back is one position where we need
For sure.
like an interesting start today. Eric Bailly played four consecutive games or had four consecutive starts for United for the first time since September 2017. And
Yeah,
2017 was, I think, when he was signed, or 2016 was when he was signed for us.
when he was signed, yeah,
And
exactly, yes.
it's been a long time coming. That shows like Eric Bailly is a good defender when he is in the squad for 15, 16 games straight. But we have missed Eric Bailly, and we've had to deal with the likes of Smalling and Jones, you know, playing day in and day out, or Smalling and Lindelof playing day in, day out.
Yeah, yeah,
And like we saw Eric Bailly today, we've seen, you know, his some of the strengths and the agility that he possesses, and that complements Harry Maguire, who,
yeah,
despite being defensively sound, is slow, and
yeah,
he is prone to, you know, losing his marker
yes.
in one-on-one or, you know, even two-on-one situations. So for me, I think it's clear we need another defender like Eric Bailly, whose injury record is better than Eric Bailly, and that should be
Yes.
our focus area because
Yeah.
for the right wing, I think we have two youngsters, and we might have to, sort of rotate between Traore, Pellistri, Rashford, Greenwood on the right until we can get to the summer and probably go for Jadon Sancho again. Because I
Yes.
don't think Borussia Dortmund is having a great year. They're fifth in the league, and
Yeah.
despite all the noise that they made, oh, we're better than United. If things
Yeah.
stay like this, Sancho is definitely leaving, and Dortmund will have to sell him for less than the 120 they were demanding.
Exactly. Yeah. I think most of the United fans, if you ask, everyone would is able to see that we are in a need of a center back. So because it's exciting to see Eric Bailly playing the way he's playing, but you know the injury is around the corner, and he can get injured anytime, and you know that's going to be a long term injury for sure. And I personally would not like to see Lindelof and Maguire partnership back again because, like you said, they are very slow. So I remember the Leicester game where when I saw the team sheet, I was excited to see Harry Maguire and Eric Bailly playing because that allowed United to play a very high line, and we know Vardy's strength. He likes to run over the shoulder of the defender and take the ball. So Eric Bailly's inclusion in that team was really crucial because we were able to handle him and keep him quiet for the majority of the game until he scored, which was disappointing. But yeah, a center back definitely. I think David Alaba is currently available in the market. He is going to be a free
Ooh,
transfer. He is open to
like
talk to other teams.
David Alaba will be expensive in terms of salaries, huh?
Yeah. So, but still, when you when you have a genuine chance of winning or going for a title, let's say, when you are breathing down the neck of Liverpool, why not spend that extra bit of money? You for sure he's going to be expensive, but he definitely will bring something different to the team. You know he's going to be reliable because I personally don't think David Alaba gets injured that much, and he is really good with his feet. He would complement Harry Maguire, so why not? Why not take that punt and let's see what happens? But yeah, he's going to be expensive, and I think we United are is looking at the right direction where with Amad Traore signing. We would expect him to slowly transition into the team as a crucial member, but still,
Hmm.
like you said, like investing in a youngster is definitely something which Solskjaer has brought into the club, brought back to the club, and that is exciting to see. And I personally have not seen Amar Traore a lot. I have not seen Atlanta play on a daily basis or a weekly basis, but yeah, with what we are hearing or the chatter around him is really positive. So
Yeah, like the skills video definitely, show him as a Lionel Messi, but again,
hmm
Ahmad Traore is what, 20 or 19,
yeah, he just
and
turned 20, I guess. Yeah.
and Atlanta has not given him, much starts, like not
Yep.
enough starts this year, not even from the bench. But the stats that have been given to him, he has shown, glimpses of the talent that he possesses, especially on the right wing, and
Yes.
something that we've missed. And this is a guy who loves running in at defenders, who loves putting in crosses, who loves assisting, people in scoring positions, and that is what we want from our right wingers. We don't want a goal scoring. I don't like. We would love to have a goal scoring right winger, but at this point in time, we want
We
people who
need
can create.
someone. Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
who can
Exactly.
create, especially
Yes.
against low block teams.
Yes.
And that is where Ahmad Traore, Facundo Pellistri,
hmm
they can sort of come in and make this position their own and help us in the games because both of them are two very different kind of players.
Yeah.
And if
That's
they
true.
develop as we hope they would, like
You
United is
never know,
looking
right?
at, yeah, like we're looking at some really good days or years up
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah,
So,
that's good. That's a great point you bring up, right? Like for a 20-year-old kid playing for Manchester United, you definitely have him for a duration of, let's say, 10 to 12 years, the best years of his career. So if it works out, uh, it's going to be exciting. But again, Greenwood is definitely not a right winger. I don't think. I think his natural tendency is just to cut in and take a shot because we know that he is strong with either of his foot. So Greenwood is definitely not a right winger. I think Rashford kind of gets in and out of the game if he plays on the right. He tends to again like come in, and you know that his left foot is not that strong. He
hmm,
will not. Uh, he's not confident taking that shot, and I think that's what happened with the game against. If I remember correctly, it was Everton where Cavani was starting in the number 9 position, and
hmm,
most of the 80 minutes he was starved of any kind of supply. But eventually he decided to take it on himself to create that goal. So yeah, people say that United currently is relying on individual performances and that spark of brilliance, brilliant moment in a game. But I tend to see it in a different light because Oli definitely has got things right in terms of formations and tactics. So that's good to see because I bring this point up because I remember we were having this discussion after United were dumped out of the Champions League, and we all were super angry and we all wanted something to change within United. So what do you think changed since that game? Because
I
I
think
still remember the conversation we had. We wanted everyone, almost everyone wanted Ole gone. But what do you think has changed?
And this is after the game against RB Leipzig, right, where we were
Yes.
trailing 3-0, sort of made up 3-2. And I remember that week we had a 3-2 game against Southampton,
Yeah.
and we also had a 3-2 game, another comeback victory against another team in the Premier League. Like we had two comeback wins.
I keep forgetting. Yeah. It's been a long time. I
Was
tend
it West
to
Ham or was it Sheffield?
my
Like,
possibly West Ham. Maybe I think it was West Ham.
yeah, because
Might have been West
the
Ham.
first half was terrible. Southampton first half was terrible. RB
Hmm.
Leipzig first half was terrible, and the RB Leipzig game showed that we set up with a five-man defense. Despite Ole saying that we are not
Hmm.
here to draw, we are here to win. Like having heard
Win.
that in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
press conference, and then seeing the defense or the team that he put out, and then going down 2-0 in the first 10 or 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and having seen that his plans have been torn apart, we
Yeah.
still
That's.
persisted with the same formation for the first half
Hmm.
up until we made the first change. And that to me was like appalling. I'm like, your plans are nowhere there. Now you cannot defend. You set up a defensive formation and you cannot defend because we are already 2-0 down.
Yeah.
Change the formation and bring on attacking players because we need to score goals to be alive, like to stay alive in the competition. We needed a draw. But he wasted 30 minutes of the first half thinking that we can score goals with a team that was set up defensively. So, like these moments still tell me that Solskjaer is not at the top of his game. He's not a top coach. He's not a coach to take United, forward. And even now, I have doubts whether it is Solskjaer's tactics that has helped us to the top, or is it individual brilliances
Hmm.
or inspiration from players on the pitch like Bruno or Cavani chipping in with goals. So I'm like still, undecided.
Yeah.
And for United to move ahead, like our coaching staff needs to be at the top of the game because we are seeing defensive mistakes every other game. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has not been, the defender that we had signed, and the
Yeah.
coaching staff has not been able to coach him the way they should. Defensive lapses are present all over the field. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think I will agree to the point that the defensive side of things need to change drastically because Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I don't know, for some reason likes to stay closer to the central defenders. I don't know why. He should be covering his wing and taking care of any crosses coming in, which he's very good at, because we have already seen that in the previous season. I don't know. There's something has to change or give in the defensive side of the thing. But the place where I tend to disagree with you is where you say that Ole might not have gotten things right in terms of tactics, but uh, players stepping up and making a difference, because I definitely was able to see some kind of tactical things happening. Let's take the Leeds game, because we know that Leeds tend to play a little bit open and they try and attack every time possible. But it was Ole who made that change where he allowed McTominay to run box to box and make those darting runs, because I think it was Calvin Phillips who was uh, given the responsibility of marking Bruno Fernandes in that game. And when McTominay started to make those darting runs, you started to see things happening. And within the first 5 minutes, we were 2-0 up. So yeah, I think Oli has uh, made changes tactically, but he's still learning on the job, like you said, because he tends to get a little flustered when things don't go his way. For instance, the Leipzig game, because in the first 15 minutes, all the tactics were out of the window, and he had to make like an executive decision to make changes, and we never saw those changes come in. Like even in during the halftime, we were expecting changes to take place, maybe try something different, but still things don't change. I definitely see that aspect where Ole is trying to learn on the job and trying to get inputs from someone within his defensive setup, like coaching setup, to make changes. But still, yeah, he has a long way to go. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's what I think in terms of if Ole is able to take United to win titles or even any kind of trophy this season. But one thing is for sure, we need to win a trophy this season. That can be
Yeah.
anything,
Be
but
it
Ole
EFL, like I'd be
definitely
happy with
can.
an EFL Cup.
Yeah,
Like
exactly,
it doesn't matter, but just get that
exactly,
cup because we've gone
exactly.
out in semi-finals. Was it three
Two of them,
semi-finals?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
two?
yeah.
No, FA
Three.
Cup. FA Cup semi-final, Europa League semi-final, EFL Cup semi-final. Three
Yes,
semi-finals lost.
exactly. So three semifinals.
And
So he needs to. Yeah, I
Ole
think it's
needs to up his
like
game. Ole needs to up his game. His
exactly.
selections have been terrible. Like again, it's like where people say, "Oh, we need to be patient with Ole," and fans are like, "We need to be patient with Ole. You know, he's done well in big games." But the thing is, our team is set up on the counter, and big teams want to win. So we will always find spaces to beat the
Mm,
big teams. Leeds, we will always find a way to beat them. Even if Ole had not, gone with a tactical change,
yeah,
it would have been a 4-3 game. We could have won it 4-3. Like our team has goals, and we are set on
yeah,
the counter,
yeah.
and Leeds always give spaces to the
Mm,
opposition. But it's the selection, the team selection that baffles me. Even the team selection against RB Leipzig, team selection against Manchester City in the EFL Cup semis, against Chelsea in the FA Cup semis, which was like a 50-50 team. I mean, and that's where, he put a dent in our own good run
yes.
last year. And this is where I'm like, Ole, if he's learning, to me it shows that, his tactics, he is not sure of his tactics.
Yeah,
They work, and when they don't work, he is clueless.
yeah,
Top
yeah.
managers change things instantly.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the other aspect which I am little pleased about is the fact that uh, fans from other teams, or even fans from our fan base, kind of uh, are not giving all the credit that this team needs. And we go into certain games as underdogs, which I like, because we know that we have nothing to lose. We just have things to prove. So that allows us to gives us a little bit of freedom to express ourselves. So I think that might be something which goes in advantage for us. And yeah, you never know, anything can happen, because we have seen, I don't want to compare us to Leicester, but the season looks to be going in that way where there can be anyone can win the title. So yeah, I like the fact that we most of the fans don't give us a chance when we go into big games, and if we do well, that's good enough. But if we lose, we know that we are entitled to criticize our players on the pitch. So yeah, that's fair to say. And the other thing you brought up was team selections, and I wanted to know your opinion about what you think is happening with Van de Beek, because he was a player. I think we made a video as well when he got signed. We all were excited because a player from Ajax, we know what kind of qualities he brings to the pitch. And but yeah, things didn't quite turn out the way we expected it to be. So what do you think is happening with Van de Beek situation, and do you think Solskjaer should be picking him more regularly or more often?
I think with Van de Beek, the thing is maybe he's a player for the future, and he was available now, and we went
Mm,
for him
mm.
instead of waiting for another year and another team coming in and getting him because this
So do you
year's
think he's a
transfer.
Pogba replacement, or is that?
I think that he can be a Pogba replacement because he has played in that position, and we are preparing to sell Pogba. Even though Pogba has been a good player this year, he has put in some consistent performances, especially after recovering from a bout of COVID. But his agent is not doing us any favors. So,
Yeah.
like, I see Donny Van de Beek as a signing which is for the future. And maybe Scholz would have had a word with him and saying that, hey, you know what, this year you will not get enough chances,
Yeah.
but we bought you for the future. And this year you'll get to train with the team. You'll get to understand what is it to play for United and what is the mentality that we want to inculcate. Like,
But he has played in a Champions League semi-final, mind you.
he has, but then that was the Ajax team, it was the
Yeah.
Ajax way, and he was their senior player,
Yeah.
and he was the main player. But we have players in those positions who, at this
Mm.
point in time, are over Van de Beek. There were
Mm.
certain games where Van de Beek could have played, where Solskjaer made some pretty terrible decisions with
Exactly.
the selection,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
Juan Mata, I don't know why, like Juan Mata starting those games, like I don't know, was it in his clause that he has to start at least 6 games
Certain
every
number of
year?
games. Yeah.
And
Mm.
Solskjaer was like, I'll just give him, these games at the start instead of some important games. So at the end, because now we don't see Juan Mata in the team at all. We
Yeah.
don't see
Absolutely.
him coming off the bench at all.
Yeah.
So that can be one of the reasons. And the other reason could be that Solskjaer did not scout Van de Beek, and
Exactly.
Van
Yeah.
der Sar was like, "Oh, Van de Beek is available. We are willing to sell." And Ed Woodward wanted to, calm down some of the critics, went out, bought the player, and got him. So it's just two ways. Either he's a player for the future, or Solskjaer did not scout him and does not know how to use him. And again, that's a mark of a manager who I think is not at the top of the game because Van de
Yeah.
Beek is an exceptional player. He's still 22, can
Yeah.
develop into a
Still very.
really good talent and
Yeah.
be the player that we wanted because he plays for the team. He's not an individual, unlike Pogba. Like, what do you think
Absolutely.
about
You
Van
you
de Beek?
you know what confuses me is the fact that I sometimes feel that Solskjaer thinks that Van de Beek is a Fernandes kind of a player, where you tend to see him in a number 10 role, making things happen higher on the pitch. But again, this kind of surprised me in today's game, because when you took off Bruno Fernandes
Fernandes.
towards the end, why not get in Van de Beek or give
Yeah,
him some time? And instead he gets in Daniel James, which I think was a good decision. What I kind of understand what he was thinking. He wanted to give Luke Shaw a little bit more protection, because Matty Cash was having a ball playing on that side. He was getting crosses in. So I understand what he was thinking. But if you think Van de Beek is a Bruno Fernandes replacement. So when you take off Bruno Fernandes, why not just get him in? And you had one more substitution on your hand, and you could have easily gotten in Daniel James for someone else, maybe let's say
mm.
Martial or someone, right? So yeah, that really baffles me. Like, was he a signing that Solskjaer actually wanted, or like you said, was it something which came in from Van de Sar, who said, yeah, this is a great talent, just have him, and we know at United younger players get that chances to prove themselves. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, but yeah, as because I tend not to support a particular player over Manchester United. So till we are winning, till everything is rosy, I think Van de Beek, Solskjaer not picking Van de Beek or something like that does not kind of uh, affect me. But yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind where why he is not getting his chances. Why? Because every time he has come on the pitch for United, he has done well. It's not like he has not performed or not given his all on the pitch. So yeah, till United are winning, I'm happy. Nothing to complain, but yeah, something to keep in mind again. Yeah, but other thing you brought up while talking about Van de Beek, which was interesting, was Paul Pogba.
Hmm.
That's something which went it was doing the rounds for close to 2 to 3 weeks, and most of the United fans were enraged with the fact that his agent was talking a lot of crap regarding him not getting playing his best at United, and he's looking for a new challenge. So what do you think? Do you think
I
Pogba is going to leave in the in the January window? Do you think he's going to stay and try and complete the season and then leave? If he leaves, who do you want to come in?
like for me, Pogba. I don't know if he'll go in January. I think he's too important for us at the moment, but definitely the summer.
Mm,
Like we want to get as much as we can out of Pogba. Like even though it would pain United to do that after what Mino Raiola did against us just before the game with our beliefs. Like it changed our plans because I think
that's
Pogba was a starter in that game
absolutely. I think you're
and
right there. Yeah.
and Ole had to tinker and change the formation just because of that stupid comment. And this enrages me as a fan where the club is helpless.
Yeah.
But the only thing that the club can do is like, hey, you know what? This guy is not worth the hassle. Okay, Pogba brings in marketing, like advertising money or is a good person to have in the team in terms of Instagram followers or Twitter followers. But what's the value that he's added to the squad? We've
Yeah.
not seen him inspire players. Pogba is a World Cup winner and has failed to inspire anybody around him to raise their game. Rather, Bruno has come in and done what we thought Pogba would be doing because Pogba considers himself an exceptional player, but where are those leadership qualities? We
Yeah.
don't see him, pushing players out on the field or demanding, the best out of them. Bruno is doing that. Bruno is demanding that from Pogba. So I don't want Pogba in the squad now, despite his capabilities. I mean,
Yeah.
Pogba is not the only player. We've seen Van de Beek possess some of the same qualities,
Mm.
and having more pride for the shirt than just his name. Oh, I'm Van de Beek and I can do whatever I want. So
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
Pogba
I think that's
definitely out in the summer.
yeah. I think Pogba definitely goes in the summer, right? There's no way he's going to come back from what his agent said before that game, which was embarrassing to say the least, because it was one of the I think it was one of the biggest games for United because everything was riding on that game, and just on the eve of the game, you come out and give those statements. Um, yeah, that definitely has put the final nail in the coffin that Pogba's future at United is. I don't see a future for Pogba at United. But on the other hand, if you see um, Ole giving him the game time, giving him the chances to prove himself, I think that's what, like you said, is is uh, is Ole playing it a little smartly and trying to get his price a little bit on the higher side, which is good. If Pogba gives his 100% for the team and puts in performances like today, and I think it was I keep forgetting the game. It was I think he had two assists in some other game. So if he puts
Mm-hmm.
performances like that, I am well happy with him, because again, like I said, I do not support a particular player. Like most of the fans within the United fan base who are Pogba FC, but they want just their favorite player to be featuring in the team. I don't think along those lines. If a player makes the team tick, why not have him in the team and let him prove himself on the pitch? So yeah, Pogba definitely is going to leave, and in the summer for sure. I think we will have. For me, it would be the ideal signing for him as a replacement for would be Jack Grealish. What do
Oh
you think?
yeah. Like I would prefer Jack Grealish to be a part of United. Now, Gary Neville came out today and said that he does not see Jack Grealish being, a signing that we would go for. But
He plays in the
I
exactly same role as Pogba was playing today in our team. Like on the
and
left hand side,
yeah,
cutting in, going again on the wing, putting in crosses, trying to make things happen. So Grealish, yeah, good.
but yeah, Grealish is a player who can play on the left, and he can
Yeah.
also play through the middle, and he can also play with a defensive midfielder and create from the back and be a box to box player because he has that tenacity.
Yeah.
He has skillfulness, he has vision, and Grealish has stepped up. Like we have
Oh, he has
seen
stepped
so
up
many,
leaps and bounds.
so
Yeah.
many people be like, "Oh, Grealish is just an overrated player," and this was was it 2013 or was
I
it
think so.
2014 when Aston
Yeah.
Villa was relegated and David Moyes was sacked and we had Louis van Gaal? That was the first time
Yep.
we saw Jack Grealish play in the Premier League, and Tottenham was going for him. And then it was next year where Jack Grealish was the only player worth seeing.
Yeah.
And this year he has just turned up his game. And I think it can be due to the fact that Aston Villa got Ross Barkley, they got Anwar El
Hmm.
Ghazi, and
Hmm.
like who themselves, took up some responsibility and allowed Grealish to flourish. And we have those players at United.
Yeah.
So if
Who
Grealish
can
comes
benefit
in,
from his
yeah,
play? Yeah.
like imagine Bruno being there already and then Grealish, playing a supporting role for Bruno because Grealish attracts players. He draws fouls. He gets into those uncomfortable positions for the defenders and creates goal scoring opportunities. And he's happy giving assists. It's not
Yes.
that he's just a goal scorer. He's a goal creator as well. And
Exactly.
imagine Grealish, Bruno, Donny van de Beek together in the midfield. Like that would be some midfield. It's still a
Some midfield,
dream
right?
with
Yeah.
me, but Grealish would solve a lot of problems. And him
Absolutely.
and a centre back, or him and a centre back
would
for
would
sure.
solve
Yeah,
most of the problems United have. I think. Yeah, I think in at least in the January window, if we manage to get in a decent enough centre back, I definitely feel that United have that potential or that consistent run of form to challenge Liverpool this season,
hmm
because yeah, I definitely feel we are one of the closest teams uh, who can challenge Liverpool. I think us and City for
I
me
don't know
would
about City.
two teams.
City lack the goal threat. I've seen City
Yeah.
for the last 10 games, and I do not see goals in them, like
You,
goals. They scored 102 goals last year with a goal difference of 65. Like 65. We scored 66 goals the
yeah.
entire season.
Yep.
But this year, if you look at Man City, just 21 goals and 12 against. Kevin De
You
Bruyne,
you know what's interesting there, that you bring that up is, I think Pep has made some tactical changes where he is looking to be a little bit more defensive than just go all out attack, like what he did in the season which you mentioned, where they went and scored like ridiculous amount of goals, like close to 100 goals. But yeah, I think there's definitely a tactical switch where he's focusing more on the defensive side, but he's leaking goals, which is not good. If
yeah.
you went ahead with that mentality, you would expect to see a lot more clean sheets. But yeah, that's interesting you bring that up, because the other fact I wanted to get your thoughts on, was again back to going back to Ole and other managers in and around uh, that top half of the table. Will just exclude Arsenal from this conversation
Hmm.
because they are, I think, they're just
Boy,
not there.
you had to bring Arsenal up. You had to
Yeah,
bring Arsenal up. I'm like,
yeah. So it took us
oh,
an hour,
Camden.
but we are there. We are having this conversation. So yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts. Like, um I feel that there's a lot of there's for me at least, like a United fan, I see a lot of disrespect for Solskjaer, where he does not get his due amount of credit what United have achieved, at least till the 16 games we have seen, right? I still see pundits, I still see fans, I still see uh, the fact that Ole is under pressure, and we know at Manchester United you are always under pressure. Run of 3 or 4 bad games, and you immediately see people saying this manager out, that out. But do you think it should be the same amount of criticism should be coming the way of Pep, let's say, or even a Frank Lampard? Because I know for a fact that Mikel Arteta has been getting a lot of heat because of his performances or his team's performances. But do you think Pep or even Frank or Lampard or even Klopp, let's say, for the results the teams are putting out. So do you think they should also be getting the same amount of criticism or same kind of treatment from the media, let's say?
I think Lampard definitely. He,
Yeah.
like Solskjaer, has not, managed a top club or done something really fantastic. He first managed Derby County in the Championship and failed to win promotion with them, especially when it came to winning promotion. No doubt he was up there, but he did not finish top two in the
Mm.
Championship. He did not win the Championship. He
Yeah.
went in via the playoffs and lost to Aston Villa. So when people say that Frank Lampard has a style, okay, he has a style of play,
He
but we've
has,
seen
yeah.
him struggle, with an amazing Chelsea squad. So the jury should be against, or should be out against Lampard as well. Ole,
Yeah.
Ole was like the temporary manager who was given a permanent reign, especially after that fantastic night against PSG in Paris.
Mm.
But some of the criticism against Ole has been justified, and this I believe Ole has brought, on himself
On himself,
because
yeah,
of
for sure.
his words, his actions, his choice of tactics. I wouldn't say his tactics, his choice of tactics that is employed. Like he definitely has tactics. Nobody is denying that. It's just that he does not know when
Stick
to
by his
use
words.
what tactic in a game that can go either way. He knows what tactic to use against Liverpool,
Mm.
against Chelsea, against Man City. But this year, that those tactics have not worked. Pep went back to a defensive shape against us. Chelsea went into a defensive shape against us, and they were happy to sit back and come up with a point because they know if they play the game, they are losing. When we score goals, we score goals galore.
Yes.
We hit teams on the counter and we convert those chances.
Yep.
And teams have found out, but Ole is happy to stick with counter-attacking football. This is where I think the criticism is justified, where we do not have any other style of play. Like we cannot break teams down. Like off late we've done that with Wolves. Like we ground out that 1-0 win in the 92nd, 93rd minute,
Yeah.
and that sort of set us up for this
Yeah. Yeah.
top
I
of the
think
table clash with
the
Liverpool.
other game you might be forgetting is the West Brom game, which is easy to forget because we won that game 1-0. And
1-0.
again,
That was terrible.
yeah, it was a low block, but again, we managed to score a goal, keep that clean sheet, get those 3 points that were
But
needed.
again, that
So
was a lucky game because West Brom should have had the penalty. They did not get the penalty. We should not have had the penalty. We got the penalty, and then it was a penalty that was safe, but then retaken. So, like, I will not consider that West Brom game because we were lucky, with that win.
Hmm.
But Ole has to prove that he can grind out these wins, and to grind out these wins, we do not have the players. And as you said, Rashford, he scores goals, but he's not a goal creator.
Right.
Like he will not. pass the ball in the right space for another player to score. And that is where we see sometimes Cavani lost, as a lone
Yeah,
striker, devoid of any
exactly.
service, even though he is a goal scorer and a goal creator, despite being the center forward. So with Ole, the jury's still out. Like he has had exceptional nights, he has had some terrible nights, but I think he has had more of exceptional nights than terrible nights, and his lows have been really deep lows. His highs
Yeah,
have
yeah.
been really huge highs. There
Absolutely.
is no in between. So we
Yeah.
need to find that in between, and then I think the criticism against Ole will stop because his numbers speak for itself. As far as
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta, I want to throw him in the mix. You remember you asked me that question in that game against Arsenal. That was frankly the last watch
Yep.
along that we did, where it was like, oh, Mikel Arteta, has a way. He's got Thomas Partey and El Neni, and they're like world beaters now. And they scored that one goal via penalty, which was the goal of the month for
Yep.
Arsenal. And then they went downhill and lost every
Downhill. Yeah.
subsequent game. So, like that is where I feel that just the criticism is not justified, because
Yes.
a lot of these managers have struggled. Pep Guardiola is struggling. Like he has not been able to plug the gaps at the back, and to plug that, he's had to change his formation and move into a more defensive shape, which is
Yeah.
what Ole does sometimes. Like have five
Yeah.
players at the back, and Lampard did that, so
Yeah.
that he could get that draw and plug, the leak at the back. So we got to credit Ole with that tactical
Mm.
change, which has been adopted by top managers. Like even Jurgen Klopp has had to change his formations, albeit due to injuries, but like he's moved into a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that, like what you said, Ole gets his due of criticism because of the fact that he says something in his press conference, he promises something to the fans, and he does not kind of live up to that in terms of his tactics or his team selection, let's say. But yeah, I think I won't complain with the fact that most of the people or most of the fans around the world don't think Solskjaer is capable enough to get United on a consistent run of wins, because that, again, like I already said, it puts us or conveys us like an underdog going into different games, which would definitely help us. But again, coming back to Pep or even Lampard, I think Pep definitely does not get the criticism he deserves,
hmm
because he definitely has all the resources at his disposal to, because he got in a defender as well. It's not like during the transfer market, due to COVID restrictions, he could not get in players or sanction new transfers for his team, but because he got in, I keep forgetting
Ruben
the
Diaz.
name of the Ruben Diaz, exactly.
You
So,
got
but
Ruben Diaz,
still,
you got Cancelo,
yeah,
and Rodri.
exactly. So I don't think he gets his fair share of criticism, because he definitely has done a great job at Man City and helping them take that step up. But I think it's time for people to take notice of the fact that there are teams who are finding out Pep, who are able to figure out what Pep is trying to do, and he should be getting his part of the criticism coming along his way as well.
Yeah,
And
because
like you
City
said,
has
Lampard, yeah,
City has failed to beat certain teams like West Brom. They
yeah,
drew against
yeah.
West Brom 1-1, and I think they drew against another team. I don't know which
Um,
team was it, but West Ham like
West Ham,
1-1, and Leeds,
yep,
they drew against Leeds 1-1. So these are like the low scoring games for City. I don't know if City is doing that deliberately, or
yeah,
like trying to preserve the
yeah,
game and not concede because they know these teams can score. But yeah, it's
yeah.
it's
I think,
it's like it's what you say. Pep, he's enamored as all, but he should be criticized as well when
yeah.
his teams fail to deliver the results. And you're talking about the
But yeah, nothing to, yeah,
so a lot of criticism, but Ole deserves some credit for us being where we are this year. Like 2020 has been amazing. We've seen a change of fortunes. For that, I'll credit Ole to an extent, but I'll give my credit to Bruno Fernandes.
Mm.
And
So do you
like
think he's the best player in the league currently?
I feel he is 33, 33
33.
goal scoring moments, with
Yep.
goals and assists, and that puts him at the top of the list, above Kevin De Bruyne. And that for me proves that Bruno has been, the catalyst for where we are at the moment. For me, I will go ahead and say Bruno is this generation's Eric Cantona.
Hmm, that those are some bold words, but yeah, I think you could. It's fair to say he has that kind of impact, like Eric Cantona had on that team. But if he manages to win, if Bruno manages or helps us win the title, I would definitely say he has made that kind of impact for
And
sure.
just one trophy, and
Just
the
one trophy,
EFL
yes.
Cup will come before any other games, and that is why I was like, go for that EFL Cup, make it a priority. Even if you don't win the Europa League, I don't care. We
Yeah,
can win the EFL Cup, we can get top four, but we'll have that trophy. And then next season again, like go for a trophy and go ahead in the Champions League, because this
absolutely.
team needs trophies. We won trophies. Like we won the Europa League, we won the FA Cup, we won the EFL Cup under
Yeah,
Mourinho. Like we've done
yeah,
those things, but the players that we had, they were not motivated to win it again.
okay,
Like
exactly.
they were happy. They were like, "Oh, we got a trophy, amazing!" They celebrated like champions. But then it turned out to nothing. But
Yeah,
this group of players with Bruno, I know, like we all know that if he wins a trophy, he would definitely want another trophy. He's not stopping.
absolutely,
Like he,
absolutely.
frankly, he's unhappy when his kid beats him at Karam.
Yeah,
So so that's
absolutely.
the kind of mentality that I see.
Yeah, I
And
think it's going to be important for Solskjaer as well. Like in his managerial career, he will have something to show for himself as well. Like that will give him the confidence to take that next step, and maybe even have that kind of a leverage to show to the board that yes, see here's something which I won with the limited amount of resources I had at my disposal, and now if you give me the transfers that I want in certain positions, I can maybe take that next step. So I think it's important for himself as well to prove himself to the fans that he's not just some PE teacher who is out there because he scored that goal in 1999.
mm, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And at this point in time, I would like to put in a small segment, and let me just sort of go ahead and record it so that we can also put a small snippet of the segment for
Yeah.
all our fans, so that you can let us know in the comment section what are your thoughts on it. So, like, what has been or who has been the signing of the year for you?
For me,
Yes.
I think for me, like, are we considering only United or are we considering every
Like
team in the Premier League?
for Man United, like let's keep it Man United. I don't care about the other teams at the moment. I'm like more
Yeah,
interested
I
in
think Bruno, right? Cannot deny the fact, the type of impact he has had on the team. So it's definitely going to be Bruno. Like you said, 33 goal involvements since he has come in, and there seems to be no sign of him stopping anytime soon. So yeah, for me, definitely Bruno.
mm,
How about
I
you?
I was going with Odion Igalo until I heard those words 33 goal scoring moments. Nah,
Uh,
but Bruno Fernandes definitely he's been the signing of the year. I think he's been the signing of the decade. Like
Absolutely.
40 million pounds, scoring more goals than a striker, creating more goals than any of our players ever did for 3 years,
Yeah.
and frankly, inspiring the team to get back to winning ways and ensure that winning is the only constant at Old Trafford. So for me,
Yep.
Bruno definitely the signing of the year. Now, what for you has been the moment of the year 2020? What has been your favorite moment for Man United this year?
This year. So I think that's difficult. I'm trying to think. some of the moments where we did something out of the ordinary, but I think it's going back to Paris and winning that game. I think it was again brought back the the memories of what we did in that infamous night. Again, it was Rashford scored who scored that goal, which was I think written in the stars, and that was bound to happen. So I think yeah, for me it would be Paris, the Paris game again, where we won. I think 2-1 if I'm not wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah. How about you?
For me, okay, I would also have picked up Paris until I, like today I was like reading up on United
Yeah.
GF, but then that's when
Uh
I
huh.
realized, wow, this was the
Mhm.
game that, I really enjoyed. And I go back to the last game before
Mhm.
lockdown where fans were allowed in the stadium and Man United beat Man City 2-0. And
Yeah.
I I had
Oh,
goosebumps on
yeah.
myself. Now, I hadn't seen the
Did we
whole
watch that
game.
game together? If I'm not wrong, we watched that game.
No,
No.
that was March. This was March.
Oh, right, right.
This was
Got it.
March, just before the lockdown. And I remember trying to watch the first half. I did not have, I couldn't get a live stream on.
Mhm.
And then I put on the second half, and I was trying to do a live watch along myself to no avail. But we were 1-0 up and frankly cruising, and then Edison, you
Yeah.
know,
Midland.
like tried to push the game on so that City could get the leveler, but somehow
Yeah.
McTominay found the ball and hit it in the net and ran towards Stretford and
That was a
man,
moment,
that
right?
was some scene at Old Trafford. Like all that bouncing, shouting, revelry. I don't know, was it your favorite commentator, Peter
Peter
Drury?
Drury? Yes,
Was
I
he
think
was
it
he
was
the
Peter
commentator in
Drury.
that game?
Yes, exactly.
And he was like McTominay does it, and like I like amazing, amazing
That's
atmosphere. I could feel it from the computer, what it meant to every 73,000, each one of them at Old Trafford. To me, that was the moment of the year. And I still think that, frankly, that moment sort of gave us the belief that, hey, we can be a serious top four contender,
yeah,
if not a Premier League winner. And that that memory will still stay because we beat City in 3 games out of the 4 games that we played against them.
yeah,
So, and that was like one of the terrible times that we were having. Like we were having an on and
yeah.
off time
Hmm.
after the restart as well. But amazing, amazing, amazing. So this brings me to the penultimate question. What is the one quality that you've liked about this United team? Like especially since Project Restart.
Hmm. That's interesting. I think one of the two reasons that I mentioned, why United is having this run of form is because the winning mentality of not giving up anytime soon. Where I think it started off with this season, where United currently are the best traveling team, and most of the games we have been coming from behind, where at least we are 1-0 down or 2-0 down, coming back and winning those games. I know it's not ideal or not pretty to concede those two goals. Why even go to a situation where you concede goals and you have to do everything the hard way and come back to win the game? But still, that's something which is ingrained into the team. I think it's done by Solskjaer. Like you said, Bruno has that impact. There are players who bring that mentality to the team. So I think yeah, not giving up till the end, and more often than not we see the Fergie time goals. So
Mm,
that's I think as a United fan that's the charm, right? Uh, 90 minutes, 95th minute, you have still trying to get that winning goal and get those 3 points, converting that 1 to 3 points, or even like coming from behind and winning the games. I think that's for me is is a positive change which Solskjaer definitely has brought into the team.
no, for sure, for sure. For me as well. This has been resilience has been one quality that I've seen United, work upon
Yeah.
this year, and especially when you're talking about those 30 time goals. we did not see enough of them. And this year
enough
we've
of
like
them.
seen
Yeah,
loads of them where we like keep going, keep going, keep going to get that one goal, no matter how it comes.
yeah,
And the Wolves game personified, that moment. Even the
exactly,
Everton game in the EFL where
exactly.
we were like 0-0, and then Edinson Cavani with that moment of brilliance, twist and a turn on the left foot
Yeah,
into the goal that sort of won the game for us. And this is what kills other teams because they think
exactly.
that they have
That's
done
exactly.
everything
Yes.
that they can
Yep.
to get
Yep.
that point or to, at least take it to that penalty in the case of EFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You know what's the other thing I like about this when you score late is that you can be a little bit sympathetic with the other team where you say that yeah they played well, they deserve something out of the game, but we still managed to nick the game. That is something which I like to say after a game where, like, that feeling where you know that you're not up to the mark for this game, you're not making things happen, those passes are not coming out, so and you still manage to get the 3 points. I think that is important, and yeah, definitely a quality I would like United to continue to have.
and what is one quality that you think we can do without, like one of the worst qualities of this United squad?
Ooh. uh the one thing I think, that's pretty interesting, right? Yeah, I think making uh, the defensive mistakes where you tend to have when we see Harry Maguire and Lindelof play together, we tend to see our fullbacks playing very narrow, is something which I would like not to see for sure. And that can be done either by keeping Bailly fit, which we know is not humanly possible, or getting someone in the January transfer window who is more reliable, with Harry Maguire or even Lindelof, let's say. So yeah, I would like to see our fullbacks given that freedom to go ahead and make things happen on the higher side of the pitch. We know Van Bissaka still has to work on that side, but if he has not given that chance to at least try these out, how are we expecting him to improve on that aspect of his game? So I would definitely like to see that change where we had our uh, Patrice Evra, let's say, going down the left wing and putting in those brilliant crosses for someone to head in. We want to see that where our fullbacks put in the crosses. We are not starving our forwards without any supply. So that's one thing for sure. How about you?
Leadership,
Mm.
like accountability on the pitch. When
Yeah,
Bruno's not playing, there is no accountability, and Harry
yeah.
Maguire
There's
is
no
not the
other way for
captain
sure,
for me
for
because
sure.
he's left his post far too many times and and not taken responsibility.
Yeah.
And in that absence, I think when Harry Maguire takes responsibility or leadership seriously, I
Hmm.
think that's where our fullbacks might also improve. Where
Improve. Yeah.
they'll be confident that yeah they have a leader at the back whom they can trust. So for me, that's one aspect I would like to see change. I would prefer Bruno to be the captain. For some
Yeah.
reason, Harry Maguire is still the captain, but I don't see him as being inspirational. Good player,
Yes.
no doubt, but inspirational, a big
No.
no.
Mm.
So yeah, that's one thing that I feel where we can do better and
Better.
bring in
Much
more
better.
natural leaders. They may not be vocal, but at least they inspire others to do their best. So that has been for me like the year in review 2020 for United. We had a disappointing start. First Jan 2020 lost to Arsenal 2-0, a game that everyone expected us to win.
Win. Yeah.
And first Jan 2021, we beat Aston Villa in a game where, like, frankly, I did not see, us as winning
How
after Aston
we.
Villa scored that goal.
Yep.
So we have come a long way from, the start of the year.
Yeah.
Like personally and especially with COVID and everything, and I hope you guys all have had, one of the most challenging times that you've ever faced in your life. But hopefully Man United has kept us, happy
Yep.
and has given us hope that we are back to winning ways finally. I've repeated this phrase so many times now that I
7 years
cannot
in the
even count.
making. I
Yeah,
think you are excused to make that statement as much time as possible because it's been too long for us.
yeah. So for me, like that's it. That's the year in review. I am pretty hopeful that United, will keep this form going, and even if we don't win the Premier League,
Yeah.
I'm like confident that we'll be top four
Yeah.
easily, and be title contenders next
Yeah.
year for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, what I would like United to do in 2021 is stay as close to Liverpool as
Hmm.
possible because we know that they are going to get the results they need eventually. But if we manage to stay closer to them, let's say towards the 28th game, or let's say towards the 30th game of the season, and we are still in touching distance with Liverpool, you never know what could happen towards the end of the season. So I would want United to keep this run of form going, and hopefully we bring in someone in January and reinforce a team to, yeah, solidify and put in more determined performances going forward. So yeah, I am definitely hopeful. I would say that there are chances of 21 coming to Manchester United, but yeah, let's be optimistic. Let's ride on this wave of positivity. And like you said, it has been a challenging 2020 had been a challenging year for almost everyone. And yeah, I think we can just hope and look forward to 2021 as United fans and all across the world for sure.
Yeah, and as we come to the end, I think the next game is against Wolves.
Yes.
And is that an FA Cup or is that a Premier League
Uh,
game?
is it against Wolves? I'll have to kind of check, but I'm not quite sure what the run of um, fixtures look like.
So,
Might be FA Cup though. Oh, it's against Watford, so it might be Odion Igalo's last game, and he might get a chance there.
is it his
So
last game for real?
yes, yes, his contract is done. So oh no, I
Oh,
think the next
I
game
think
for us
Odion
is,
Igalo
yep,
has done like he's his contract was
he's done.
like towards the end of the year
Oh.
because he gave an interview with
Oh,
MUTV
that's right. I think he's
already.
already left. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is true. But I think the next game is for us is City in the EFL Cup, and it's a
Which
one-legged fixture where
oh,
there
it's
has
one
to
legged
be a
now,
result.
no two
Yeah, yeah.
legs.
No, there has to be a result, an outcome from that game,
But
and
this
it's
game will
oh
be is like has been postponed, right? Against City.
no, I think it's still there. It's on the 6th, which is Wednesday.
So that's the upcoming game
Yes.
in like 4 days time, and then Watford in the FA Cup. So that's a
Then
blank
Watford,
game week.
yes. Yep. And I think what we can plan to do, if we stay in touching distance, is we can do a watch along for United versus Liverpool, which is on the 17th,
Oh, that will
which
be
I hope will be a blockbuster of a game. It's on a Sunday, and
oof.
we can definitely do a watch along for that.
Well, like hopefully Liverpool loses this game.
Yeah,
Their
against
next game
Southampton.
against Southampton or
Yeah.
draws, and it'll set us up for the top of the table. I'm like saying this with so much enthusiasm, a top of the table clash against Liverpool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And it's good that we are getting a chance to play our game in hand against Burnley as well in on January the 12th, which is good because I think it was Alex Ferguson who said it's much better to have the 3 points on the board rather than just having a game in hand going into the busier period of the season, because we
hmm.
know that we'll have the Europa League games, and pushing in the Burnley game would have been difficult, but it's good that we are getting to play that game in hand, and maybe, yeah, we would hope to be much closer and with the chance to go over Liverpool maybe at Anfield. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can definitely
And I would
do
happily
that
play
game.
youngsters in the game against Watford. Like I would just throw out
Absolutely,
Adama
absolutely,
Traore, not Adama,
absolutely.
Ahmad
He's a
Traore
mad.
and Pellistri and Jesse Lingard. Like I don't care about FA Cup at this point in
Yep,
time. Like it's
yep.
EFL Cup, Premier League, and then that's it. But yeah, Red Devils United. Let us know your favorite moment as a Man United fan this year. Your favorite signing. I don't know if it's Bruno Fernandes or Odion Igalo, but we'd be happy to know and learn more about it in the comment section below. Definitely leave us a shout out, share the video with other Man United fans, like us, spread the love, and follow Red Devils United. Frankly, we are at 100 supporters. I could not be more happy than achieving that landmark, even
Yeah,
though it's
yeah,
just 100.
absolutely.
But we are gonna grow and come
Yeah,
up with new
absolutely.
content. And who knows, you might be, in our next video in the
Mm.
future sometime.
Yeah,
So until next time for the watch along against Liverpool, a top of the table clash, hopefully, you know, have a safe and a happy new year.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Ta-da!